Rachel Shumaker. I am a native of Mississippi. I'm 22 years old and a recent graduate of Mississippi State University with degrees in political science and communication with an emphasis in public relations. I hope to go to law school next fall and work in public service as an attorney.
You
It is
are
not. I have been participating in since I was about 16 years old. So I've been around for about 5 or 6 years now, but obviously this was the first Mississippi volunteer pageant. So this was the first of its kind in our state. So I have my roots in another system in pageantry, and I was really drawn to the things that make Miss Volunteer America different, the focus on volunteerism, the opportunity to gain scholarships, but that not being the central mission. Miss Volunteer America is more about the total package. We have 5 points to our crown, which spell out the word serve, and they stand for scholarships, education, responsibility, volunteerism, and empowerment. So I was drawn to this idea of kind of having a new pageant system that is all about being well-rounded. I was also drawn to it because it was hosted in a city that I grew up 20 minutes down the road from, an area of the state that I've always thought would be a great host city for a state level pageant, but it's never had one. So I was very excited about that. Overall, there are lots of pageant systems, lots of opportunities to be a role model and to serve. But to me, this Miss Volunteer America is the only one that does not define a mold for what success should look like. Rather, it provides that avenue for young women for success, but it doesn't define what that success should look like. So I was very drawn to that and have been very pleased within the first week of this job, getting to see that develop and excited to continue developing it through this year. Yes, I have competed in the Miss America system, but something that differentiates the two is the scoring specifically. So we do have the swimsuit competition, and the way that I see it, we are bringing in some of the old aspects of the Miss America system that no longer exist, the focus on glamour and fashion, and the swimsuit competition, which is overall about pushing contestants to achieve a higher level of health, not on size or shape. So bringing in those old aspects of pageantry that some of us may have missed in the past few years, but also incorporating some new ones. So it is similar to the Miss America system in that respect, but the way that the scoring is spread out over the categories makes it different. So interview is worth 40% of the score, and everything else is worth 20%. So I hear a lot of times girls want to do pageants, but they don't believe they have a talent that is worth 40 or 50% of the score, as in the Miss America system. But in Miss Volunteer America, it's worth only 20% of the score. So we're really trying to make sure that young women feel included in the Miss Volunteer America system. We had a young woman performing a karate routine as her talent, which is incredible. And we want to encourage that. We want everyone to realize that just because you may not have grown up in dance or playing an instrument or singing, that you do have a talent that can be presented on stage. So the lower emphasis on talent and the equal distribution across evening gown and swimsuit, and then the higher interview score, is something that has never been done in Miss America or, to my knowledge, in any other pageant system. I play the piano for talent. So not only is it an exciting feeling to be crowned in any pageant, any title, but to be the first, I think just added that extra layer of excitement. In that moment, it wasn't, I've said this before, but in that moment, it wasn't, oh my gosh, I just won this pageant. It's, oh my gosh, my life just changed forever. I have a new job now. And I get to be the first. I get to mold and create this legacy. I get to set the standard for what this pageant system will look like for years to come. So that is an honor, but it's also a great responsibility. It is my job, just as responsibility is one of the 5 points of the crown, it is my job to ensure that this first year is everything that it can be. So there is a little bit of pressure, but it's the best kind of pressure possible. It's the responsibility of knowing that young women are looking to me to see what this organization is all about. But it's also the responsibility to create partnerships, to build sponsorships, relationships that will far outlast my time as Miss Mississippi Volunteer. I want to look back 10 years or even 20 years down the road and say that whatever I did this year is still being implemented, was helpful in building this legacy. So in that moment, of course, I was just so excited to be crowned, but also additionally excited to be the first one. So, I think that pageantry provides role models that are tangible. I grew up watching the Olympics, and I idolized the Olympic gymnasts or actresses, but those were people that I saw on TV. And so, quote unquote, pageant girls were the first role models that I ever had that I felt like were real people that I could mold my life after. And so I hope to give the feeling that I felt when meeting those women to young women throughout my year. I hope that they realize this is a dream that is attainable for them. I remember sitting in the audience or watching on TV and thinking that I would never rise to the level of being competitive at a state pageant, but I just had the dream one day and put in the work to make it happen. And so I hope that young women can look at me and say, well, nothing stopped her from achieving her dreams, and hope that they will feel inspired to do the same. I don't feel any pressure at all. I actually feel a lot of support and encouragement from my board of directors, from the amount of people that have come to me with kind words or offering their services or products to help me prepare for Miss Volunteer America. Of course, it would be absolutely incredible to bring home the first national crown to Mississippi. But instead of pressure, I just really feel a lot of excitement. We have a good bit of time to prepare for the national pageant, as is usually not the case with other state level pageants. This time we have until May to prepare for Miss Volunteer America. So I'm very excited about having this long process to prepare, to make sure that wardrobe, talent selection, interview preparation is all done, dotting my I's and crossing my T's, making sure that everything is taken care of. So I have plenty of time. And I think that's great too, because I will get experience serving as Miss Mississippi Volunteer, which will be similar to the job of Miss Volunteer America. So I won't just be preparing for that competition, but I'll additionally be preparing for what the job of Miss Volunteer America would be like. Absolutely. So one of the things that I will be doing, I would say the most important thing that I will be doing during my year as Miss Mississippi Volunteer, we have created a partnership with the Mississippi Highway Patrol. I'm actually going to meet with them today. And so Mississippi, out of all of the states, consistently ranks top 5 for teen driving related deaths. And last year, 2020, there were 70 Mississippi teens who lost their lives due to a driving related incident. So our organization saw a need to address that. So we've partnered with the Mississippi Highway Patrol, and I will be traveling along with my teen counterpart, Miss Mississippi Teen Volunteer Mary Kate Nelson, throughout the state of Mississippi, speaking to teens about safe driving habits. I hope that I can save just one family the grief of losing their child to a car accident. And the Highway Patrol is wonderful. They do a great job, and they can go into schools and talk to children all day long. But to have a young person, someone who, it's been a minute since I've graduated from high school, but it hasn't been that long. I'm not in uniform. I'm young. I can go and talk from a place of understanding, a place of empathy. I know that excitement of being able to drive for the first time and forgetting to do so safely. And so that is just one of the many aspects of service that I'll be doing during my year. But overall, one of my biggest goals for my year is just to serve in whatever capacity I may be needed. That's part of my personal platform, I Am Titanium, is finding community needs and working to fulfill them, whatever they may be. So I may be seen working with multiple different charities throughout the year, different aspects of service, but that is what I want to do. I want to serve as much as possible, as selflessly as possible, and help people as much as I can in this short year. Yes, it does have a teen category. I don't believe we know the dates for that national pageant yet, but we will soon. Yes, so I believe they are constructing a national pageant for Miss Teen Volunteer America as well. I'm pretty sure that's solidified. We're just not sure if it's going to be at the same time as Miss Volunteer America or at a different time yet. It is difficult, but in this digital age, we have learned to adapt. We have learned to transport our skills across a virtual platform to be able to reach people. I was asked, what is something you wanted to do with your platform that you did not get to do during the pandemic? And my answer to that is nothing. I learned to adapt quickly and to be able to serve in a virtual capacity. Part of my personal platform is visiting children in the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Obviously, I was not able to do that, but I found other ways to reach them. And of course, as sad as that is, we can't do those in person things. Volunteers and people who have service minded hearts are still needed during a pandemic, and we have to forge ahead if we have the resources and ability to serve. Well, I think of years of preparation, I've learned to become comfortable on a stage. I still get very nervous for talent because there is so much potential for it to go wrong. I miss one note on the piano and everyone hears it. But if you miss one step in a dance, you may know it, but not everyone else in the audience may know it. So there is a lot of pressure to perform talent perfectly. First swimsuit competition, just living a healthy lifestyle, eating healthy, exercising regularly, and most importantly, striving to have confidence in my swimsuit presentation. For evening gown, the same, just having that mindset of elegance and grace and poise. And for interview competition, even though that's not on stage, having conversations with people like you, studying current events. Of course, being a political science major, that's something I was doing anyway, so it nicely incorporates into my interview preparation. But just studying, having a very firm identity, knowing what my opinions are, knowing why my opinions are those, and just working to make sure that I have a well-rounded worldview. In the past year, for me, it's been time management. I just recently graduated from college. I did go live in Washington, D.C. for a semester and worked on Capitol Hill. So I was balancing that. I came home, was taking 19 hours of coursework plus a 20-hour-a-week job and balancing preparation for a state level competition. So having to do all of those things and trying to maintain a social life, health and wellness, and make sure that my preparation is as good as it can possibly be, as you can imagine, is a little bit overwhelming. But at the end of the day, having to do all of those things in the past year has really prepared me for the busy schedule that I already have as Miss Mississippi Volunteer. I use a time management app. I make sure that I schedule time to be off, time to relax, time to spend time with my family or to cook or exercise, to do an activity that I love. I keep everything written down, planned to a T. My days are usually planned out to the minute. But that's just how it's always been for me. I have a very type A personality, so I really don't mind the scheduling aspect of it. Of course, there are times when I mess up, things overlap, or I run out of time. But for the most part, just using organizing apps, relying on my support system to help me when I can't do it all myself. That's a big thing. I'm very independent, so sometimes I want to do it all myself. But as Miss Mississippi Volunteer, I have received an outpouring of support of people who can help me. And so I'm trying to rely on them when I need to and trying not to be so stubborn and do it all myself. It's so our board of directors, I would say, is a fairly small team, very close knit group of people. But as far as family, friends, extended support goes, I would say it's a fairly large team. Some of them are offering their donations, their services, their products, and some of them are just offering kind words. So I would say it's a pretty large team of people behind me there, but my close knit circle is very small. Oh, I really love sweets of all kinds. I have a little bit of a Diet Coke addiction, so probably Diet Coke. I'm trying to break that because I know it's not good for me, but sweets and Diet Coke for sure. When I was a child, my godmother really instilled the aspect of adventure in my heart. So I tried to treat every single day as a new adventure, a new opportunity to do something fun. I tried to never miss a chance to do something outside of my comfort zone. I'm not even sure at this point that I even still have a comfort zone. Um, so it's just living by adventure, living with the eyes to see new opportunities, to cultivate new chances to meet people, to experience life to the fullest, and to make great memories. So my godmother actually passed away when I was a
Oh,
child, but my entire family, I'm the youngest of 4 children. So one of my older brothers and his 3 little girls and his wife were there in the audience, and they're all 3 under the age of 7. So they were very excited to see all the sparkly dresses and the crowns. But I have some non-blood related family members that have been integral to my success. And so just looking out in the audience, being able to see them crying probably harder than I was after being crowned was really special.
your mother cried too?
Oh, yes. She shed many tears. I think the biggest thing is an overall toolbox or skill set that I'll carry with me into the workforce. I know how to speak comfortably in public, to plan, to organize, to write well, to speak well. But when I'm 50 or 60 years old, I probably won't remember which awards I won or what interview was good or what interview was bad, but the friendships that I have made will be with me for the rest of my life. I'm in 2 weddings this summer of women that I met competing in pageantry, and those are solid lifelong friendships that I never would have gained if it had not been for pageantry. So, of course, that skill set is wonderful, and the relationships and the opportunities, but the friendships and the great memories will live with me a lot longer than those things will. I actually do think so, and I think that's from the outside looking in, a lot of people think that pageantry is demeaning to women, but truthfully, none of us would ever sign up if we thought it was demeaning. And I have experienced tremendous personal growth and sense of self development through pageantry. I am so much more confident in who I am. And, it's not easy to get up on stage and present yourself publicly to be judged or scored by a panel of judges. But once you've done it, the feeling of satisfaction and peace that comes with it is a feeling like no other. And I think that a lot of other young women who are involved in pageantry would say the same thing. I can't think of anything more positive or helpful to my self esteem than competing in pageantry. I think the best definition of beauty is a good heart. A lot of us have our own, physical definitions of beauty, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder when it comes to the outside appearance. But everyone can agree that solid, firm character and a good heart is beautiful. I think social media is a very powerful tool. It allows us to connect with each other, allows us to break social and physical barriers that we've never been able to break otherwise. But I think we have to be careful because it can be detrimental to our mental health, to our social development. It was great to have during the COVID-19 pandemic because we were able to still connect with each other, but it should not take the place of in person conversations and spending quality time with each other. So, I think that is a trend that my generation, Generation Z, is going to be responsible for breaking. I believe we're improving, but there's still a lot of work to be done. So, I do use social media a lot as Miss Mississippi volunteer, but I hope to also make sure that people understand that's just a highlight reel and that the real work is done behind the scenes. And so I try not to post too much on my Miss Mississippi volunteer social media, just enough sharing the good things, the appearances throughout my day. But I also want to make sure that people understand that I'm still having face to face conversations or even virtual conversations with people. And that's really important too. Miss Mississippi Volunteer being new is trying to build a following on social media, but it's been really cool to have a separate page for Miss Mississippi Volunteer for my personal because I get to dedicate that fully to my endeavors as Miss Mississippi Volunteer. Even though it's not separate from my identity, it's nice to have a different place where people can follow it. Also, in my personal platform advocacy, I have a campaign called I Am Titanium Features, which is basically featuring people who have overcome something very negative in their life and turned it into a positive experience. So in the past year, especially during COVID, when people were really needing sources of inspiration, I used those campaigns to inspire people. So whether that's a public figure or an actress or a person in history who had maybe, a medical condition that they overcame or some serious loss, I used those to interact with the community to inspire people and to kind of give them that sense of identity and that sense of relation with people who they may have otherwise not had anything in common with. So as a child, I was diagnosed with scoliosis, which is a curvature of the spine. And through years of treatments, wearing a back brace, I finally went through scoliosis surgery, spinal fusion surgery, and I now have 2 rods and 18 screws, which are made of the metal titanium in my spine. And so my platform was born out of my vision for advocacy for scoliosis. But I was visiting children's hospitals and speaking with people and realized that I Am Titanium could actually be something much bigger. I realized that so many of us live with the mental strength of titanium, not just physical. So I began to see these stories of resilience and hope and strength come to life all around me. So I Am Titanium has evolved now into broader advocacy. The overall mission is empowering people to overcome the limitations that have been placed on their life, but it does have a special focus on the Children's Miracle Network hospitals because I was a patient in one.
Have you a social account, a social media about your platform, on your platform?
Yes, so I have a Facebook page and it's called I Am Titanium on Facebook.
Okay, it's only on Facebook.
Yes, ma'am. Right now it's only on Facebook. I'm hoping to kind of incorporate that into my Miss Mississippi Volunteer Instagram page instead of having a separate page so that they don't get separated. I actually really like Facebook because I feel like there's a little more freedom, lengthier captions, a little more detailed interactions, but I love the aesthetic aspect of Instagram. But probably at the end of the day, I may like Facebook a little bit more. I think success varies for everyone. Of course, I feel very successful right now, having been crowned Miss Mississippi Volunteer, but I felt successful before this crown was ever placed on my head because I achieved my personal goal of preparing for a state competition in a way that was authentically me. But I've had other definitions of success in the past. Overcoming scoliosis was certainly a moment of success for me. Graduating from college with 2 degrees was a moment of success. And I think that varies for every single person. I think that there's no universal definition, but rather personal ones. So I will be starting my work for the Mississippi Highway Patrol promoting safe driving very soon. So that and preparing for the national competition, wardrobe selection, talent selection, and making as many appearances as possible. So keep up with me on social media. My schedule is changing day to day, sponsor visits, ribbon cuttings, whatever I can get myself involved in. I'm sure I'll find something to do every single day. So stay tuned, keep up on my social media to see what I'm up to. Oh, goodness. Well, I hate to say pageantry because I could obviously talk about pageantry all day long, but I think I would talk about building personal success and delayed gratification. It's so easy, especially as a member of Generation Z, to make decisions that are based on the now and to forget to invest in our futures. But because of pageantry, I made some very valuable investments in my future at a young age, and I'm beginning to see those pay off now. I was very prepared for college and for the workforce because of things that I did as a teenager, and pageantry certainly helped me get there. So I want to make sure that the members of our Generation Z, high school students in particular, are working now to secure futures for themselves. Generation Z statistically values personal security more than anything else in life, but it's hard to get that if you don't plan for the future. So whether that's financial literacy or making educational plans or anything of the sort, I would want to have a talk show about teaching young people how to build a secure future. always lip gloss, lipstick of some sort. Since I was a child, my mom laughs because when I was 2 or 3 years old, I always had a little purse with me and it always had lipstick in it. And that is still true to this day. So lipstick, always some snacks, possibly a small energy drink. I got to keep going, keep fueled throughout the day. Sunglasses for sure. I'm always wearing sunglasses, even if it's not sunny outside. An extra pair of earrings and a hairbrush.
Energy drink, you have need energy drink with your busy schedule, your
Yes.
busy activity. I have no, in France, I have no energy drink like in the United States, and I have a chocolate, coffee a lot of the day.
I bet you need it.
I have
I just want to encourage anyone who is watching who may not have felt like they have a place in pageantry before to give the Miss Volunteer America system a chance. We're almost up to having a pageant in all 50 states. And I think that's incredible to say in the first year of this program being launched. We had a lot of girls participating in our state competition who had never done a pageant before, and they all had really positive experiences. This competition was designed to be inclusive to women who have not felt like they belonged in pageantry before. So I want to encourage anyone who's watching who has maybe felt that pull but not sure how to take the leap. Please give it a try. I am very open to talking with anyone who would like to speak to me or has any questions. And I know that we have a board of volunteers who would do the same. And at the end of the day, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in the abilities that you've been given, but you've also got to put in the work. Every day, get up and do something to propel you towards your goal, and you will see it pay off one day. Start developing yourself now and your skills. Don't rush into this decision, but give yourself time. Gradually start looking at the news, studying current events for interview. This is very practical advice and probably not as inspirational as you had hoped, but the more prepared you are, the better you will feel going into your state competition. And most importantly, reach out to people because there are so many people who are willing to help. You do not have to do this alone. Goodness knows if I had prepared for this pageant all alone, I would not be sitting here with this crown on my head, but I had people who were willing to help me. And I am one of those people. So reach out to people who can help you. Prepare and hone your skills as much as possible. But like I said, at the end of the day, you have to believe in yourself and what you're given. Don't look to your left or your right to see what the girl next to you is doing, but look straight ahead at the path you have to forge for yourself.